Hello folks, the Celtic Nerd here bringing you another nerdy video. Let me just reach on down here and pick some up. Alright, it is Friday, the day after I did Adventurers League. So folks, what can I say? As the title of this video is called, it's the Chaotic Investigators. Last night I ran this adventure with a group of players, obviously from AL, and let's see, what do I have to say about it? It was fun. It was a load of fun. We had two rogues. One was starting from if I'm sitting here facing people, player A will be in front of me, so A, B, C, D. So going from that side, because that's how I did all the notes. We had the human fighter. We had a wood elf rogue assassin. We had a warforged artificer. We had a fiend warlock Aarakocra, and I'm getting a blister on my tongue, which it makes it hurt to talk. God damn it. We had a dragonborn warlock. We had another rogue. I cannot remember his race. And then we had some person whose class I cannot remember. What was he? Everyone was attacking in melee. So, I cannot for life of me remember. So I had a pretty large party. Because I had a pretty large party, I divvied up the... let's see. Let's see. Everyone was level 3 times 7. So their combined thing was that, but then we divide that by 7. So yeah, it just equals up to 3 again. So their APL was 3, but because of their numbers, the party was designated strong for all the adventures in this. So yes, drums in a marsh. We had to skip over a few things towards the end because the party messed around quite a bit. It was a good fun though, so we all had a laugh. So no matter, I'm going to be complaining about some of the shenanigans they've done, but like in the end of the day, we all had fun, and that's what D&D is about. If I skip over content to give them a satisfying ending, so be it. Like at the end of the day, they walked away with an interesting story that they can tell their friends and whatnot, or to remember, and that's great. So they were tasked to find missing farmers, travelers, and the like, people who have been gone missing. There were some shenanigans with them trying to negotiate a bigger pay. Some of them were not fans of the fact that the magical item was for warlock. Well, it's designated a spell scroll, and spell scrolls can only be used by people who have access to that spell. So I asked around, and there was only one person who could use the scroll. So I was like, okay, well, give it to the warlock. So, but he sacrificed his pay, and I did agree that they would get a certain amount of money extra. So they were hired. They left all their mounts behind because I said so, and because the adventure said so. So they went off to investigate some of the. Someone barges in and tells them there's been a most recent abduction like that must have happened last night. So the party went off to investigate. Our human fighter did steal some treasure that was buried, that was hidden under floorboards of one of these places. She went to investigate the farmhouse. Someone else went to investigate the farmhand's little hut, and then one person went off to investigate the well, and then two of them went to investigate the chicken coop. Now, fun fact of this group is the Warforged and the Aarakocra know each other, and the Warforged convinced the Aarakocra that he's a chicken, so he has a habit of clucking. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So eventually, we slowed down a bit because I had to double check something because one part of this adventure did not make sense to me, and I wish I paid more attention when I skimmed it before the thing. The South Farm, like, states that it leads to another farm that the party should investigate, and they did investigate. But then the Northfield is supposed. It doesn't say that leads to another farm. That just leads to. It just describes the area. It does not state, oh, this is this farm, which clearly they must be somewhat connected. Now, mind you, this is a very early D&D fifth edition thing. So like we're talking going back years and years and years. So they're not. It was. I've noticed that the further back you go with the adventures in D&D, some the more badly structured and written they tend to be. Like they would have information that the DM should have immediately. They would have it later down in the book, as if they expect the DM to read through it and memorize everything, which is very unfortunate. Like I know DMs who have much better memories than me, and even they get confused by the layout of some of the information in these older adventures. So they eventually discover like loads of clues, and they all come to the conclusion that it must be lizard folk. Um, they get a land of a keelboat, and they begin their search. Now, in my because of the delays of from them goofing around and having a laugh, and me having to try and double check, it does the Southfield. Sorry, does the Northfield really do connect to this farm? I accidentally panicked and skipped over some information. So I went back and I modified the encounter. It was supposed to happen at the farm, one of the farms, but I decided no. You know what? I'm going to modify it so that it happens on the boat. So they're still on the boat. They're about to have a long rest, and their lookouts get attacked by a bunch of lizard folk. So shenanigans ensue. This party is rolling, by the way, terribly. No one has any good insight, which was a bit shocking. I was like, oh god, you just have no insight. You just have like two faces and very stealthy people, but like hardly any intelligence. But this rogue assassin had great intelligence. He was able to find like a good number of clues. Um, Mind you, other people found clues as well. Like they had much better luck, but the two lookouts had. But the point is, people had. There was no one with good insight or perception, and that led to a hilarious moment. It ran into a running gag within the table, even though we were only there for about 4 hours, and the running gag was like, "Oh my god, like you guys don't know it's anything." So the Aerocrocker and the other player, I cannot remember his class for the life of me, kept, they got ambushed by the lizard folk, and it was just hilarious. Now, mind you, the party was able to quickly get rid of the lizard folk because the party was significantly more powerful, and they also rolled really well on the initiative, whereas the lizard folk did not. The lizard folk did get a surprise round, but they failed to take out the Watcher. The one thing I was really thrilled about was the Paladin. The Paladin did a phenomenal job, folks. Apparently it was his first time playing D&D, first time obviously at AL, and then first combat, and he got how do you want to do this? He divine smite his very first attack as a player and in D&D, and he kills the creature with one shot. Now, the reason why he was level 3 is because this AL likes to keep the party all the same level. So they basically tell everyone, like, okay, so they basically told him, like, make your character level 3. So you can, you don't have to worry about being curb stomped by teaming up with the other adventurers. So he one-shots it, and I'm like, how do you want to do this? Because, like, it's your first ever kill. How do you want to do this? So he's like, we all agreed to like, oh yeah, it's anime style, because he described slashing its head like that, and we're all like, oh no, anime shit. It there's a delay before the head starts sliding. And he's like, yeah. Everyone got really into it. And as such, because one lizard folk already went down because of all the other attacks, the remaining four are like, realize, okay, we are outmatched by these people. So they quickly escaped. There was supposed to be another encounter like the next day, but I decided not to do it because after that point we got the 20-minute warning that we had to finish up. So I skipped that encounter. We did another one. Now this one is my favorite moment throughout the entire thing. Oh, sorry. Because of this raft situation, it's called the Prisoner Raft. The artificer who has proficiency in the Skies kit wanted to skin one of the lizard folk and make a costume out of it. I was like, okay, you're not also not gonna have enough time to do that, but if you want, sure, it's gonna take a while. So he rolled a survival, did not get it. He failed to make that to scavenge the hide. But anyway, the Aarakocra warlock and the rogue assassin come up with an idea to allow the rogue to catch up to the raft much quicker without raising a lure. The Aarakocra would leave his gear behind and carry the rogue over, and then get real close to the ground and then gently let him go. All went according to plan. I said to the Aarakocra, I had the Aarakocra roll stealth to see how well he can keep himself aloft while not excessively beating his wings to cause noise. So he rolled well enough that none of the lizard folk noticed. So I basically described that he glides in. I had the rogue roll acrobatics and then a stealth check. Acrobatics to see him land into it, to land into the ground well enough to get back up onto his feet. And then stealth, obviously, to see how much noise that all makes. Both passes. And now this is where the party really, I love this. I had a problem player in the past who, in a similar situation, my girlfriend was playing a rogue assassin. The rest of the party always enjoyed letting her, especially when they found sleeping enemies, they're always like, oh yeah, send in the rogue assassin to slit their throats. But one player was always getting upset. He hated the idea of this happening because, again, in his mind, he's like, well, I'm sitting around doing nothing. He would disguise it by saying, we're sitting around doing nothing. But the rest of the party's like, it's quite literally what she does. Her job is to kill people to deal a fuck ton of damage when we get the drop on people. Yeah, and if she can potentially one-shot, which was often goblins and other things, she's going to one-shot them. So the rest of the party is happy to, give her a huge moment in the sun, of just taking out all these enemies for the party before a big fight. Let them save their resources as best they could. So, but yeah, no, this party was the exact opposite. They were all getting into it. With every successful stealth check, with every successful hit, they're like, yeah! Everyone started getting louder and louder. I had to stand up because I was getting excited myself. And he starts taking them out one by one. I'm like, after that first kill, I'm like, okay, roll the attack on the other one because he fails notice. Because technically, as he's holding the guy back to finish him off, the rat and the other lizard folk are walking forward. So he's quickly because I took it in seconds. So he's stab, movement speed, up, stab to get to the second one. That was there was two in the back, one on the raft, and then two in front. So he's there quickly taking them out. Now after those two, I did have him roll another stealth check to get onto the rafts quietly. He passed, and the crowd's like, yes. Well, sorry, not the crowd. The party's like, yes. I'm like, he doesn't notice you. He rolls another attack. He got bang on what he needed to kill that stronger lizard folk. So he takes him out, and the crowd's like, yes, because I described him as having a staff, so the party knew this guy is more special than the other ones. So he obviously tougher. So the party's like, yes. So I have him roll another stealth check to get back into the water to take out the other two. He takes out the last one, but he decides to let the Aarakocra have a turn. So the Aerocrocker is coming in, and he's like, I want to use my talents to try and claw at the last lizard folk. And I'm like, okay. He survives on 1 HP, but then the Warlock's like, hey, can I use Catapult? And I'm like, okay, why are you sending over? He's like, he has stones that have recordings of the Aerocrocker clucking like a chicken. So he basically uses his magic to fling that stone over, and I'm like, he's dead. And the last thing he hears, is soaring towards him, is the sound of clucking, which the party just cheers and laughing as well. Now, unfortunately, they get some information, and then, as I said, I'm skipping encounters and skipping segments. I skipped the Outer Islands, so they get to the lair of all the lizard folk, and the party comes up with a relatively. Now, I did hint, because of the time for it, because of time, I did hint using the rogue because he has a high intelligence, seemingly, and also as an assassin, sneaking into places is sort of his big deal, especially potentially well guarded locations. So I'm like, oh yeah, your instincts tell you, it's probably best to be as quiet as possible and just focus on getting the prisoners. Now, I did read out what it says to read out, and like the last sentence is, the lizard folk seem more interested in keeping an eye on the other groups than watching for other dangers. So because these are three different tribes of lizard folk, they're more suspicious of each other and keeping an eye on each other rather than on their prizes or what's coming in. So the party splits into three teams. The fire and the assassin go to one location with one tribe's encampment to free their prisoners. The other rogue and the person whose class and character I cannot remember went off to another. The Aerocrocker flew over to another encampment to free the animals because the lizard folk were also kidnapping animals. So he had a special ring that allowed him to speak with animals. So he uses that to convince to talk to the animals and to get them to go on a rampage, because like we're talking pigs, cows, and oxes. So basically they can cause a good bit of mayhem, if let out. So I have them all. The other two are waiting until they hear a commotion, which is going to be from the animals' distraction. So the Aircrocker rolls his stealth, he rolls his lockpicking, and he manages to open up the cage, and chaos ensues. So I give the other two advantage on their checks, stealth and sleight of obviously lockpicking, which they do succeed on. So eventually they all manage to get the people that they were sent to back over to their keelboat. But because we were just about to end the session and I knew they would not have time for this last encounter, I describe this sort of tease them, because the way Underworlds, it's not completely Underworld, but the way the DMs at Underworld Gaming, the shop that's in Dublin Tallaght, or is it Tallaght Dublin? I always mix up the order of which you're supposed to say things, but in Tallaght in Dublin. But basically, they run AL so that they do the same adventure twice in a row. So that way, if players don't get a chance to finish, or if players have to miss a session, they have another opportunity to finish it. So, on that note, I describe, as a little teaser for that, like, hey, maybe next time don't give off so much. I describe a lizard folk with a cadre, aka bodyguards and whatnot, sneaking out of the water, and they don't seem to have any markings that are similar to any of the other three tribes. So hinting at that there's a fourth clan that's about to make a move. So, but the party decides, like, we have the prisoners, let's get the fuck out of here, which is the right move because they didn't have time to do that final boss encounter. So, yeah. All in all, a really good group. They were very interested in this. Very interested in the game. They got along great. there was some animosity between the Aarakocra and the fighter, but that was more so because the Aarakocra, who's supposed to be lawful good, decided to dump the poison that they found. They found a gourd that was filled with poison into the water. They did not. They had no idea what the poison would do, but he decided just to dump it. And the human fighter was like, "No, you're gonna just needlessly poison, some of the wildlife in this river." And the Aarakocra had no problem with that, which I point out. You are supposed to be lawful good, so maybe consider alignment shift. But yeah, either way, it was a great group, and if any of you guys are watching this, thank you for giving me a very fun, memorable night. And again, as I said, I had a player who hated the idea of allowing one player to go off and do something as epic as taking out nearly an entire group of enemies silently. So well done to you guys. And if the Dragonborn Paladin is watching this, I hope your first game I hope you really did have fun with your first game. I know there's possibly not much combat, but hey, sometimes in D&D there might even be ways to avoid combat entirely. Like I've played games in AL where me and the party did not even get into combat because we outsmarted a lot of the things that was written in the adventure, and the DM just rolled with it. So you seem to have fun, and I hope you really did. Anyway, I don't want to make this video any longer than my first attempt. My first attempt went horribly wrong this morning when I recorded 30 minutes and then realized OBS changed the mic for my program. So therefore, I recorded 30 minutes with no bloody audio. So folks, in terms of these live action videos, chances are I'm not going to be able to do another Adventures League this Thursday, which means there won't be any possibly any new D&D stories. I might be able to recall using my own memory of an adventure that I played or DM'd with some of my other friends going back a few months. I might actually tell you about one of my most recent games that takes place on a Wednesday. I don't know, but the reason why I'm not going to be able to give much content is because this Friday I am moving. I will no longer this backdrop will no longer exist. I'll be in a new place. I'll be at my aunt's for the time being. Hopefully not. I won't be there for long. And so all that is going to be ongoing. I'm hoping to have some Noodle Sport videos for you guys on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when I upload it. And then on Saturday, I talked to my brother. I will be live streaming. For those of you, I don't know what I'm going to be using yet. I might use Twitch. I might use YouTube. I don't know, but I might be live streaming the Ludo Sport Ireland Air Arena 2022. So you guys might be able to see live our Ludo Sport matches. Obviously, the video will be broken up into if I do it on YouTube, it'll be broken up into two parts. Actually, either way, it's going to be broken up into two parts because I will stop the video during our brief lunch break. So everyone can have something to eat. So this not tomorrow, but the tournament is on the 27th. So on the 27th, I am hoping to be live streaming the tournaments. Thanks to my brother, give me a lend of his laptop. I'll be using this webcam here, so there might be a little bit of a grain. But yeah, folks. If not, then I'll be using my phone. So there's either way. I'll try my best to live stream it. If I can't live stream it, I'll at least record it on my phone. So yeah, folks, I'm hoping to be able to set it up. I'll be setting up the laptop, possibly the Friday before. Making sure that the webcam has whatever it needs to install is installed, as well as downloading and installing OBS, and then obviously connecting it to my Twitch or YouTube, whatever. So yeah, folks, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to competing. I asked my mother to do something about my sub tunic so that way I can wear my sub tunic while also wearing my belt, because unfortunately the Lewisburg belt keeps falling off on me. No matter which way I tie it. So I'm asking her to do like little loops so I can just keep so those loops will hold the belt up. So mm, so I'll actually be able to wear as much of the uniform as I can, because I often skip wearing the belt for safety reasons during sparring. I mainly only wear it for like pictures and whatnot. But I'm hoping from this point on, well, Sunday on, I'll be able to wear the belt with my uniform. Anyway, so yeah, folks, that will be the reason why there'll be no content. Also, on the good news though, possibly within a month. I cannot give you guys an exact time frame, but I will be upgrading to a new PC. Where I'm aiming to get a graphics card that is 8 gig memory, 6 gig minimum. I'll be upgrading also my sound cards. Like, it's a full on upgrade. The only thing I can really keep from my current PC, what I'm using right now, is possibly the hard drive. So everything else is getting replaced. I'm also going to be getting Windows 11. Which I know I prefer to keep up to the Windows updates personally. But yeah, folks, everything is going to be upgraded. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into doing my video game Let's Plays, because I'm sure the quality is going to be a lot better. Um, I did look up the graphics card that I might be using, and it looks like I might be able to do 4K gaming. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. It looks like I could. So I'm really looking forward to that. I might even buy a new game to go with it, which will most likely be the Spider-Man game. So yeah, folks, a lot of excitement. Am I disappointed that I'm moving into my hands? Yes, but there's also going to be there's also some good news in it. So I'm trying to look in the positive on things. In the meantime, this is the Celtic Nerd signing out. May the force be with you, and remember, roll for initiative.